because whatever I was trying to do on the computer was not going to work out for Monty. So here we are. One moment while I try to make all those other ones go away. So we were talking about the Mortal Instruments. I'm still not a fan of Clary. Let's get rid of all of these old ones. Oh my god. Goodbye to you, goodbye to you, goodbye to you, goodbye to you, goodbye to you. All of you need to be deleted. So 1 second. Okay, I guess for now I'll just make sure that all of these are private. Oh my god, we just were spamming everybody's feed trying to make this shit work. Okay, save that. So now I'll deal with that later because I can't seem to just delete those. So oh snap, I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're talking about the Mortal Instruments because I'm not a fan of this. Obviously, all of the books that I have yet to read, plus Queen of Air and Darkness, which is like over here on the side getting cut off. That was the plan for this month, right? I was going to read all of Cassandra Clare's books. I'm sorry I'm not making eye contact. I'm still trying to delete these old live streams that were not live. So I wanted to read Cassandra Clare's books, so I checked them all out, even though I do not like this person. This person being Cassandra Clare as a person. I find her kind of like not really here for her. But I wanted to read these because little baby Monty was really in love with Alec and Magnus. I thought that they were the epitome of like, I don't even know, just like when I was like a little baby, yay, they were my everything. But when I was reading City of Bones, and I'll hold this up as I don't look at you, it really started to bother me that Alec is like 16 in this book, maybe a little bit older. Magnus is like 400. Like that's just weird, you know? Like that's not normal. Um and I mean I already knew that in this book Alec was not important. Is that what this one was? I don't know. So I'll just hold off on that one. I knew that he wasn't important, but it didn't strike me how unimportant this character was until literally. Okay, so that's okay. So all of those need to be deleted. Delete. Delete. And we're deleting. We are deleting. So it was just weird, right? It just was weird. But I did like this one more. As I was saying before, I had like technical difficulty. I gave this book 3 stars this time. This is the 3rd time that I've read it, so maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, but I did enjoy it more this most recent time that I've read it. So that's all I have to say about City of Bones. I'm not gonna do a discussion video about it later on, like I will with some of these other books. Maybe I say that, but sitting down to film them, no. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start going live more frequently because I really cannot be bothered to edit videos. Fun fact. The other book that I read this month that I have a physical copy of is You Asked for Perfect by Laura Silverman. I read this at the beginning of the month. I don't know what day this came out. I want to say it came out on like the 10th, but that feels wrong. I don't know. But I read it right when it came out, like literally the day it was. Oh, I lost a subscriber. That's fun. Good to know. All these going live shenanigans. But yeah, I read it the day it was released pretty much. And I really, let's just push this back maybe. I don't know. I don't like having my face cut off. I don't know what we're doing here. But yeah, I read it. I love it. It's really cute. It's queer. It's interfaith relationships. So if that's something that you want to read about, if that's something you're interested in, then this would be it. Oh, this is private. Are we serious? Well, let's edit that. Can I edit that 1 second? No wonder no one is here. We can't. We are now public. I don't know if that's gonna change. We have one person. I'm so stupid. I'm really happy I was still trying to delete shit. Um, I'm gonna keep talking about You Asked for Perfect because I have to get back to the more linchpins later anyway. Oh, I can't manage it because I'm okay. That's fine. I should be able to get a link to tweet out though. I don't know, but You Asked for Perfect. I'm happy I found that out 5 minutes in and not later. Can you imagine if that had been later? I can't. I don't want to. So this is, like I said, it was interfaith. It's a Jewish man who falls in love with a Muslim man, and it is very cute. I do have a full review of this on Goodreads and on the blog, so my blog is definitely linked down in the description of this video. It's one of the more recent. Actually, let me make sure I'm not lying to you, because that is very possible, as we've discovered. That notification has nothing to do with what I'm trying to do here. I hate that, like, this link is, like, literally in the spot of the description where it wants to, like, do weirdness. Okay, so let's go here. Yes, I do have a review of this up on the blog, so if you want, like, in-depth thoughts, it is there. I guess I'll put this down here, even though it needs to go somewhere else. Can we really? Oh, okay, I see why. Then I read Again But Better by Christine Riccio. I will do a full video review of this later on in the month, or not even this month, because I think it comes out like May. I'll have to double check on that one, but I'm pretty sure it's May. So that will get a video for. Oh, okay. Oh, now we're zoomed. That's what we want. I'll do a video review that closer to the actual release date of the book. Can I just like? I don't even know. Sorry for the thing. There we go. That's what we need. We just needed a bigger book there. Okay. So that'll get a review, but again, it's on the blog. And then I read Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Easily my favorite book of the year. I'm super looking forward to getting an actual finished copy of this. I did reserve a ticket for her book event at the Ripped Bodice this June, so I will be there. If you will also be there, let me know. I know there are a couple SoCal people that I follow here on the BookTube, so that's a thing. I will be there. So let's get back to my lovely Cassandra Clarathon, because I think this is really where, and then you can't even see it, but I think I mentioned this in another video already, but I do have, you know, the most, I'm okay with that one falling because that's the one that I own, so it's a little bit less sad, but I do have the Dark Artifices also. Is that what this is even called? Yes, the Dark Artifices. So we're gonna set these over here. This was the goal for March, right? She has 12 books in this series, 6 Mortal Instruments, 3 TMI. I mean, wow, it's the same thing. 3 Infernal Devices and 3 Dark Artifices. I don't think I ever tweeted out the updated link. Can I not? It's because I don't have the updated link. That's what I was doing. If I just anyway, so that was the goal, and I think this is what's really bringing let's not have that start talking. That was the goal. I wanted to read all 12 of these books. Technically, I still have time because there's 13 days left in the month, and so I guess I can get rid of that because I'm not using that to stream anymore. There's 13 days left in the month, and there's 12 books. So technically, you know, if I read a book a day, I could get it done. I have no illusion. I don't think anyone's gonna come from Twitter, but you know, let's tweet it out. I could do it. I don't think it's gonna happen. but it could happen. It could. Difficulty with myself. Okay, there we go. Sweep that out. We're back chatting with ourselves. I could do it. Now, to be fair, to be frank, I guess I should, no one's even here, so I need to moderate comments from there. I have read all of these ones previously. So there is a part of me that wants to alleviate the guilt by just eliminating these, because I've finished them before. And I own this one. This one is my copy. That's why there's not a little thing on the side, obviously. But if I got rid of these, I feel like the pressure would definitely no longer be there. So it would be easier for me to feel like I could finish it. And it's not even like I typically go back and reread series, like the books in a series that I'm trying to like finish. So it wouldn't even be like out of character for me not to even go to here. My only issue is I really don't remember what happens here. And normally, again, that's not an issue for me. But reading just Heavenly Fire and like not remembering anything, I feel like that's probably a mistake. Like probably a mistake. But if I did, I feel like this while still, and there's no difference. This is the same stack. I don't think you can see it in camera, but like literally the same height. I feel like this is a much more manageable goal to get through in 13 days. This could be completely delusional. 10 out of 10 would not be surprised if this is a completely delusional aspiration, right? So this might be what happens, and I don't really know. And I'm the only reason and I think I talked about this is again, the Elder Scrolls of Magic or whatever. I think that's what it's called. Is coming out next month. I think it comes out in April, the beginning of April, maybe May. But I feel like everything comes out in May, so I don't think it is. But the only reason I embarked on this was I wanted to read because Magnus was getting a book with Alec, and their relationship meant a lot to Baby Gay Mon. I've already discussed how the first book let me down and it was kind of creepy. And I know that it doesn't really get any better, but I wanted to support it. And I also wanted to support it because Wesley Chu co authored the book. And so you finally have Magnus, who is an Asian character, be written, at least in part, by an Asian author. So I thought that would also be like nice points. And it was nice to see Cassandra Clare moving in an appropriate direction because this book, the first book in this series that spawned all of this, was published in 2007. So here we are 12 years later, right? And it's like she's finally putting a foot in the right direction. But I've also heard that these books right here, well, maybe not Heavenly Fire, we'll get rid of that one, right? But these other 6, I've heard nothing but like really great things, and that she's really matured with these 6. Again, I'm excluding this because I've read the first 2 in these books. The second half of the Mortal Instruments is pure fan service. Though that trilogy, the second half of it, like that, at least the first 2 in this trilogy after the original, do not need to be read. Like pure fan service. But I've heard nothing but good things about these 6. And so, like, if there's nothing but good things about these 6, and she's working with Wesley Chu, then maybe this can be redeemed. Like maybe it can. Like who am I to say it can't be redeemed? Maybe. And I feel like it's an adult book, and so Alec will be an adult, and so their relationship won't be as like side eye ready. And so I felt that there was maturity that was possible there was growth possible there. And I wanted to support that. I wanted to be there for it. But as I look at this TBR, I don't know. There's also part of me that even if I set these all aside, right? Let's push them out of frame. I haven't even picked up some of the other books I've checked out. Some of them I have no desire to get to anymore. Like I'll even move these so I don't knock them off. Um, like I checked out. We're just gonna start talking. And we're gonna be rambling now. Like I checked out Priory of the Orange Tree, which I'm too lazy to go grab. Um, and I've sort of like abandoned high fantasy. The Priory of the Orange Tree was really easy to read. I was really liking how easy it was for me to read. But there came a point where I was like confused, but I was confused in a way that like I didn't really care what happened. Like I didn't care to get to the point where things would be explained because it wasn't that I felt that it was poorly written and we were never going to get to that point, but I didn't care if we did, you know? Like I didn't feel that if I got the explanations, I was gonna care because I didn't like what I read. And I read 100 pages, which is nothing because the book is like 898 or something, or 889. It's an incredibly long, thick book, but I didn't there were threads and you could see that they were going to be pushed together at some point. I just didn't care. I also had some manga checked out for this month in case I fell into the situation where I didn't really want to read any. And I returned that so fast because I determined that I was really not interested in the manga, and I had literally only checked it out to read it because it was a manga. I knew I could get through it, and I knew that it would count towards like my Goodreads goal, and I didn't like how that made me feel. It really made me feel dirty. It made me feel gross. I was not a fan of that, and so I returned it. Not because I felt that the manga was bad. I'm sure it was like really good. One of them would have been like a reread because it was something I read in middle school. Um, but it didn't make me feel like I was. It didn't make me feel good. So I returned that, and then it left me with these three books. So that left me with The Music of What Happens by Bill Collingsberg, and that's not even his name because it's Coningsburg. A long ass time ago, if you go back on my channel to the really shit quality videos, you will see me talk about Only Straight by this man. And I love that book. And this is also queer. I think this takes place in like a food truck or something. I don't know. I saw that it was queer and I trust Bill, so I checked it out. Because Bill is a queer man. I believe he is happily married. Yes, has a husband named Chuck, so shout out to them. And because I have a video on this channel that I think is actually really terrible quality, who knows? But this is like a recent video, and it's called The Hypervisibility of Queer Male Characters, um, in which I talk about the Demar Instruments, I talk about other hyped YA titles, and what I discussed in that video is, and I can't even say that I'm against it. I put it, oh. I talk about how um titles, this isn't a super hype title, but titles like, You Asked for Perfect, and even Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is my favorite book of the year, are, well, Red, White, Blue is super hyped. I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about that damn book, and I don't think you need to, but these are super hyped titles that are written sometimes by queer people, but a lot of the time just by women or just female authors, which is not surprising. YA is dominated in part, I think, by women authors, and there's not something I'm like, oh, this is terrible, men need to take it back, but it's just like they aren't always. I think Casey McQuinton is a queer woman, so shout out to her, but you have these straight authors, these straight women authors writing these queer male characters, and I don't feel that a lot of the times queer men are the most represented. Again, we have people like Adam Silvera, who is obviously represented. I don't think Bill Coningsberg is as hyped as Adam Silvera, but Bill has been in the game a long time. He has several novels, and I haven't read this one. I read like the first sentence. I was gonna say page, but page would be a damn lie. So I read the first sentence, and it's just like, I want to support Mr. Bill. Then I checked out Last Call at the Nightshade Lounge by Paul Kruger. This was the March pick, February pick. I don't know what pick it was for the Dragons and Tea Book Club that's hosted by Mel to the Any and somebody else. I don't remember. I'm a bad participant because I didn't even pick this up. This book is short-ish. I say short, but it's like booktube short. It's like 281 pages, it looks like. Yeah, 281 pages essentially. Um, the pages were broken down. There were times for you to read them, and I didn't. It just I don't even know if I'm gonna like this. I haven't read anything. I literally checked it out. Okay, now we're back. I don't was not meant to fucking live stream. And then Easy Prey. I don't know how I heard about this, but it sounded like it was going to be a really good thriller, a YA thriller. About a teacher. I think there's like nudes involved. I don't think anyone dies. I don't think it was like that high stakes, but it sounded, yeah, there were like racy photos of a teacher that were leaked, and there are three suspects. So it's like a low stakes thriller situation that I thought was going to be really compelling, and I have not reached for it once. So that's the other thing, and that I think, excuse me, part of what has pushed me to not read these things. I don't even want to blame the booktube games because in January I read a total of 17 books, I want to say. Let's open up my reading spreadsheet. Let's go over to that. So, come on. It's loading. So, in January, I read like 17 books. And then in February, I read like 15 more. And so I think that it was literally just the combination of those things that pushed me. I cannot, one second. I cannot for the life of me read any of these. Summary. Okay, let's see here. In January, I actually read 15 books, and February, I read 18. There were some graphic novels mixed in there. I don't know to like what degree or whatever, but I do know that in that number there are those things. So I feel like part of it is just like burnout because I don't think I've read this many books since I've started Goodreads. So let's go to my Goodreads account. I'm saying let's, like, there's people here with me. I'm talking to myself. Fun times. But I can't really complain because the princess was here and then had all those technical difficulties, and I'm not gonna blame them for moving on with their life. So let's see here. Because I'm currently at 38 books, 38 titles. I read 28 last, no, 2017, 30 last year. So 32. 32 in 2015 is the highest. So I'm 6 books over that 3 months into the year. So, you know, I feel like a lot of that is just like my body, like, you haven't read this much in at least a decade. So I don't know. It's like, and I'm trying not to like put the pressure on myself to like feel bad that I'm not reaching for books. But I have like 14 library books checked out and I haven't really utilized them. So like that does weigh on me a little bit because it's like other people could have been wanting to read them, but then I go to renew it and I'm able to. So it's like obviously there's no demand for this. So like the pressure isn't real. I don't know. Um so I feel like that's everything I have to say. I've read 5 books. I didn't talk about the Lost Sisters. I talked about this on Twitter a little bit. This will be what I do to like end the stream because I already talked about Cassandra Clare. I've talked about the 3 non-Cassandra Clare books that I still would like to get to this month. I've talked about the reading, like weirdness, the fuzziness. I read The Lost Sisters yesterday. I feel like this could be its own separate video, but no, we're not doing that. Instead, we're gonna do it here. So I read The Lost Sisters yesterday as I was driving to work, and it is easily my favorite book in the series. I say that with the asterisk that I don't think it's going to change anybody's mind. I think I wasn't talking. The princess commented, I believe it was them, commented on my review that said they were able to see Taryn's side more after reading that. But I think that the way it's written and the way that Taryn is as a character, it doesn't really work in terms of like building sympathy for a character. Does that make sense? Um, I don't think anyone's reading this and is like, I feel so sympathetic for her. I think it like if anything, it reinforces why people don't like her as much as they do. Um, I just really think that's what it is. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's like a negative thing. It's just it is what it is. For me though, I think what I really liked about it was that since the Cruel Prince, I've been ride or die Taryn, right? And I think that what the Lost Sisters does is it takes everything that I already thought about her, right? Like all of my headcanons, all of like my thoughts about her motivations, all about, what I thought was happening with her, and it makes it all canon. I do think that it makes her sound a lot more naive than I would ever assume her to be. But other than that, I think like everything else that I thought about her was like pretty much confirmed by the book. And as a reader, as someone who appreciates this underappreciated character, there's not really a whole lot else that I can really ask for in terms of engagement with a character. And so for me, I really appreciated that. I also thought that it was interesting that we could go through all of the events of the Cruel Prince in like 50 pages or less. Um, I do think that is specifically because Taryn sort of like highlights the moments that her and Jude would have like the moments like where their relationship was tested or there was an impact on. Like it's not like literally the entire story from Taryn's point of view. Although I do think that Taryn is by far and away the more compelling character. I think that Taryn is easily the most complex, the most nuanced, the most layered, however you want to say it, character in the Folk of the Air series. And I think the Lost Sisters shows that. I think that Jude is very and I say that in the fact that like she's just really boring to read. I don't think she's an interesting character at all. I don't think she's dynamic at all. Even in like moments where she has potential to like really draw you in, like it doesn't work for me. Um anyway, it doesn't work for me. So as far as I was concerned, like that didn't really click. But for Taryn, I felt that she was just it was the Cruel Prince from Taryn's perspective, from Taryn narrating her thoughts, they were just more interesting. I thought that she had more thoughts on things. She had more complicated thoughts on things. She had a more layered approach to things. And a lot of that is projection, right? Like, because I like her, so it's easy for me to project these things onto her. But I also think that it's really easy to say that the writing of this book was very questionable. I don't know if I would want a collection of novellas because this one was written so like it was pretty cringy, not gonna lie. It was like in terms of like the style and that sort of a thing, it's probably the weakest. Um, it just maybe it was the narration. I don't know because I did listen to the audio, but it was very it felt almost like a Barnes& and Noble edition where it's like you get a bonus content, but it was too long to be bonus content 'cause it's like 50 pages. So, I don't know. It felt like it could have, like, been edited a little bit more than it was because it was a little rough, but, it is what it is. So those are my thoughts on The Lost Sister. I don't really have a lot of complicated thoughts on the if someone was here, we could have a little chat back and forth. But I will be, after this video goes live, after it processes into a video, I would love to have that conversation in the comments if you manage to get this far, because this is like 30 minutes. I probably will go back live again tomorrow, probably at a more reasonable time. I don't know. I've been playing around with this idea of doing the Veda, the video every day in April. Um, I have no idea what my work schedule looks like for April yet, but I've been playing around with the idea. So I might try to do like daily live streams in April because I know that I probably will not be editing and uploading a video every day, but a daily live stream I think like I could do. And I might try and do that going forward. So today is Monday, so every day until next Monday, I will be doing a live stream. I don't know what we're gonna do on these live streams. I don't know how long they're going to be, but I know I like watching them, and so we're gonna do it. So no one's seen this announcement yet, but I'll probably tweet it out. And I'll try to make them at more reasonable times and not like midnight on the East Coast. So with that said, I'm gonna go. Um, this has been a ramp. Like this is what I do. Like what you're seeing this live stream is this is how videos go. Like when I make a video, like this is what happens. Um, this is also what happens when I'm listening to the audiobook in the car and I'm talking myself through my thoughts. So now you got a little peek behind the curtain. I guess I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. If you did come back, shout out to the princess. I did see that you tagged me in the Real Talk BookTube tag. Um, Technically, I have footage filmed, but I don't like my answers, so I'm going to do that again. Maybe it'll be one of these live streams. I don't know. I did see that though. So I will get to that. And like I said, I'll see you guys again next time, whenever that happens to